all on board. You can see me, you can hear me. I have hit the record button, so you can always look back on this. And also, I want to let you know that I will make all of the slides available to you as well. So you'll have all of those available. Brett, you made it. That is fantastic. I was looking out for you, that you got everything sorted with the technology. So fantastic to have you here as well. So we'll get started. This is the first webinar series of a total of 6 that we will have. I have also put in a reminder of dates in a handout that I have for you. Now, can you also, before we begin, I have created a workbook so we can have an interactive experience for you to go through and do an audit of your website and everything that we're going to go through and deliver today. Now, I do also have, let me see if I can, you can see, no, it's all good. So I have a little bit about me as we go through. So my name is Despina Karatzias. I am one of the Tourism Tribe accredited trainers within the network, and I will let you know a little bit more about Tourism Tribe as we proceed and go through the training. But I have just a little bit about myself. I have been in the tourism, hospitality, retail, management industry for well over 15 years now, and have worked in the digital space, specifically in the small to medium businesses. So yes, accredited with a tourism e-key in particular, and that's the main reason why I'm here delivering this content to you today, and have a book called Adventures of a Balloon Girl, sharing my time really managing and growing up with a tourism operator called Global Ballooning here in Victoria. Now, as a gift to you guys for signing up with this series, I will love to share this book with you and send you a copy. I will send that with you with the recording and the slides. I'll give you a copy of the book for you to get even more resources and tools in your toolbox. So that's a little bit about me. What we'll cover today is a summary of what our time together, which we have set out in the next hour. We're going to go through the Tourism Tribe and the benefits to your business should you look at requiring more resources, more training, more knowledge, and keeping yourselves up to date and current with trends and digital marketing know-how specific for tourism. So there's a number of experts, there's a number of tutorials, a lot of free training that are on the tribe. So I'll tell you a little bit more about that. The bulk of what we're going to speak about is going to be the top 5 things that will help customers not only find you but book you. So not only how to be found, but how we can convert your inquiries into bookings. Now, all throughout, if you found that notebook that I have shared with you in the notes, and please, can you just give me a show of hands that you have access to that? So if you can just hit the little hand up. Thanks, Daryl. That's awesome. Get your hand up and open that. I've left that in there as a word so that you can work through it. Thanks, Beck and Sarah. That's good that's working. And I've also put in your handout section 2 just a 1-page digital planner. So we're going to talk about and have some homework too here for your next 6 to 12 months. Okay, so thanks for putting your hands up there. It's good to know, touch wood, fingers crossed, that everything is working well. So far so good with our technology. And yes, next step. So what can we do from here with all the knowledge that we have found and go through the audit? So as we proceed, have you found yourself saying this when it comes to keeping up with SEO, social media? Help, like I can't keep up. I don't know about you, but I know when I have managed websites over my time, as soon as you kind of get into doing one thing, something else. So can anyone relate to this slide here when it comes to digital marketing? Give me a little yes or a no. Can anyone relate to this? Thanks for the hands up. It's I've definitely seen myself. Awesome. My little hand signals just went off. So this, I guess, when I tell you about Tourism Tribe, this is what we have established as a gap in the market of where we can come together as like-minded marketing and digital marketing managers, social media, community managers in this online space, how we can just all collectively get together and share resources. So I guess in the latest stats, particularly with our industry in the travel and hospitality, what we found is that 52% of tourism businesses have a website. Can you imagine that? When we look at, even with social media, only 69% of businesses are actually using social media for business, despite the 1.5 billion active, profile Facebook accounts that is happening globally. We still have quite a while to go to match the demand of how people are searching for travel. And specific to the accommodation market, only 50% provide instant bookings online. Now, I've done a little bit of a search on all of you that are online. For those of you that have registered, some did come through later today, but I have had a look at most of your website, and it was so pleasing to see really good, high caliber websites with online bookability. But as I said, in a holistic approach as an industry, we do still have quite a while to go, and I hope you'll get a lot of value from what we have to share today. The other trend that we really need to take note of is the mobile ability. So really putting into our marketing plans and to our marketing into our marketing strategies, really going in with the mobile trends that are happening, that by 2020, and I'm sure you've seen this in your businesses, is that more and more mobile activity is happening. I've just done something even just with Facebook activity. I mean, I've seen the pendulum swing from desktop to mobile, but now I'm even seeing a lot of my clients, and even for myself, a lot of even Facebook activity is predominantly happening on mobile, and that's just going to keep on growing and growing. So when it comes to this, I guess what we've recognized is that the only constant in technology and keeping up with this is changing all the time. So when we look at the benefits of what the tribe is and how this has come about to introduce ourselves to you guys and run this series for you, is being part of a larger community, which now is over 300. I think it hit like 350 tourism and accommodation businesses, 24/7 access to digital marketing resources, training, and many, many experts in different fields. And particularly in online training sessions like this one. For example, I'll be running one later this month again specifically on Facebook, which we'll be doing together as well. And now, I don't know about you, but it can take a significant amount of time away from businesses and funds to go and do live trainings and conferences. But this is an opportunity to network and collaborate together without that, expense and taking you out of the business. So when it comes to you and your business, and we're going into like what the 5 things that can help. Before, I guess, we can go into the 5 things that can help customers find and book you. I want you to go into your question box. And guys, I'd love to make this as interactive as possible. Now, Rebecca, you've got your hand up. Did you have a question for me? Now you can just use your, no, no problem. Now, if you just wanted to pop in, whether you want to use, if you just wanted to pop in your chat, what's the most challenging thing at the moment with your I guess just your digital marketing and your website management at the moment. Does anyone have any pressing challenge that they wanted to bring to the table? Don't be shy. Was there anything? No, not at the moment. Okay. Look, I'm not sure if that's if that's working or not, but I'll take it that everything is good and you're here just to learn a little bit more how you can make it even better. Because, like I said, you guys do have very, very good websites. So when I go into what I thought I wanted to share with you today in terms of the top 5 things that will help customers find and book you, the number one thing that I want to share with you is that to optimize for search engine success. Now, Google still remains very much king of the search engine world. So, do I have a question? I have just discovered the chat box. Okay, for now, awesome. Thank you. Well, chat away. I think the chat we can all see, so please feel free to add any more value or get or interrupt me at any time with your questions. I keep looking over at this dashboard to see if you've got anything you wanted to add or ask. Otherwise, I'll just keep powering on. So when we're talking about optimizing for search engine success, now, do any of you have, do you outsource your SEO, so your search engine optimization, or do you DIY and do most of this yourselves? Is that something that you do yourselves? Some of you DIY, internally outsource. So there's 50-50 what we've got at the moment. Now, I hope what I can get with the information that I'm going to share with you, DIY such as it is, excellent. Well, Google, just like everything else, is constantly changing. So what we want is to really, I wanted to point out what the old way was when we were talking about search engine optimization. So the old way we were looking at, it was always quantity over quality. And what I mean that the old way was always stuff in as much keywords as you can about your name, about your location, about, even now I've noticed some, even competitors of mine, it used to be like throw in our name in the content as well to be to get the ranking. So it used to be content, definitely quantity over quality. Stuff in lots of keywords, and it used to be always a situation of making sure keyword density is high for the specific keyword that you wanted to rank on. So, kind of old school SEO really focused on these things. But as we move forward to what matters and what's important today is keeping things new, fresh, and high quality content. So what I'm going to talk a lot about today is adding value and lots of it to your visitors that are coming to your website. Okay, so what matters to Google today? They want to ensure that their user experience is valuable. They're ranking websites that are going to offer their users the most relevant, timely, entertaining and current content. So we want to be having high quality content, creating content that people will reference and link to for a long time. So that's what we call evergreen content. So content that not only is relevant and current for now, but also can be everlasting content. Create content around topics that matter to your market. So we've got to start really putting our customers' hats on and really considering the type of copy and information that we're loading on there. It's not a medium anymore that we can set and forget. So I see a lot of times with clients, can have set a website and then not kind of do anything on it, or even more importantly, not set up a website with a content management system that you can go in and update at your own leisure. Okay, so that's something that we want to talk about. And like I said, evergreen, another word for everlasting, that it can remain relevant for a period of time. So something that I want to alert your attention to of what really matters at the moment, and something that you want to, in your back end of your website, you might need to take this to your web developers, is your meta titles. So when we're talking about organic SEO, so your search engine optimization, and the good news, the really good news now is that it doesn't have to be a situation where it's that you need to be very, techie and know all these little tips and tricks. This is about as, basic to make an impact as you can get, to understand the difference between meta titles, which is literally what I'm focusing on here, the title of what comes up in the Google search. So the meta title is what's used by Google as one of the many variables and one of the most important when it's indexing content, okay, in the organic space. Now, it gives you about 55 characters for that, but you want to, if there's one thing that you can take away from today in terms of your searchability when people are searching for your particular hotels, motels, apartments, accommodation, places to stay, you really want to ensure that you nailed your meta titles. Because a great analogy that was shared with me is that if you don't have an effective meta title, it's like going into a library and looking for a book that doesn't have a title or an author. So you're going over to to the librarian and saying, "Oh, can you help me find this book?" and nothing is indexed. Okay, is that valuable? Does that make sense? Is that something that you can see? Please go in and add any comment or question. And the same thing further to that is your meta description. Now, this is the expanded version that you see in the Google search, and it's not as highly indexed by your as the meta title is, but it certainly does have an impact on your search results, and it does appear there. Okay, and this is something that you want to, if you've got a little bit longer, I think it's like 155 characters or less, but it certainly is something that you want to pay attention to. Something else that you want to pay attention to in your website are your headings. So headings, just like, as you know, with a Word document, if you have WordPress websites, this is something that, you're heading 1 and you're heading 2. You need to make your headings descriptive, and you always need to think about what problem am I solving when it comes to your copy and your headings, and keeping them relevant to your related keywords. Here is an example of, say, a heading, and when I looked at Google top 10 things to do in Brisbane, for example, this is something that I found in the Tourism Australia website. So the heading being top 10 things to do in Brisbane. And then if you see down here, down the bottom, we've got a subheading, a heading 2 of the different top 10 things, okay? So we want to take note of things like this to use as example when we're talking content. The other things we want to take into account is adding in value with linking into your website, within your content, linking into others. So in that same article that I just shared with you, we want to, your link generally appears in a different color on your website, so it's further. Now, I want you to always be making sure that you're going off to an external link. You're not overriding your own website. This is also something that's really valuable and helps with your search engine indexing when you are doing this in linking to another resource into your own. So you could be particularly creating, and we're going to talk about creating content. And then when you're adding something of value into your website, then you could internally set up a link that goes to, for example, your booking page. Okay, so we want to make things easy. An anchor text is the link. So here, rather than adding in a link, an ugly long link, it's actually overriding a text within your paragraph or within your content that goes through to more resource and more information. The other thing I want to really alert you to as a tool when it comes to your search engine optimization is actually looking at something like a keyword planner. What are the most searched terms for your business? Is that something that you've taken out time to look at? For those of you that outsource, like Sarah, for yourself, for instance, you might be getting that type of information sent to you in a report. For those of you that DIY, this is a fantastic tool. If you go to Google Keyword Planner, you need to sign in with an account for a Google AdWords account, which is paid advertising, but you don't need to pay a cent. You could just use this keyword planner as a resource for you to just to get some insight into what are the highest search terms, and then we work backwards and create content with this embedded in there. Okay, does that make sense? Is that valuable? How are we going? Just checking in with you guys. So if you just go into Google and go Google Keyword Planner, you'll go into this great resource. So it's free. It estimates the average number of monthly searches. So you'll get a great report of monthly searches that you can check and see, and create your editorial calendar or create content for you. It is designed for Google Ads. Now, it's not always 100% accurate, but what I want to tool you up with is just some resources when it comes to creating content that you can tap into. Okay, so this, now you think, okay, I'm trying to think of a heading, for example, for a new blog post, for instance. Instead of just winging it and going, and doing it on the fly, this is a strategic way of creating content that will help you rank and index. Okay, and when provide that be there on those, first, second, third pages when your ideal customers are looking for your type of service in your specific location. Okay. Now, this is just an example. I just wanted to give you a screenshot. So here, I've just gone in your product or service, best Brisbane accommodation. I've just done as an example. So here it's given me average monthly searches for that particular keyword term, for that search term, okay? And then if you see below that, oops, I've just gone, my mouse just went crazy. If you see just below there where I've highlighted here, average monthly searches, you can get further grouped search term that you give you. So, for example, CBD accommodation has had, over an average monthly search of almost 4,000 searches. Okay. Now, look at that, as it gives you an indication of how high that term is to bid, but it's also it also gives you how high the competition is. Okay, so you can get an idea, but for this purpose, I'm really sharing something with you of how you can really resonate with with visitors that come to your website, and keep them there longer, and create material for your website that's going to give you a competitive edge to your other providers and properties in your backyard. Okay. How are we going? All good? So this is something else that I want you to do now. You can go. So this is the first question on your little handout. How does your website rank globally? Okay. So here, this is a great resource that not only you can kind of benchmark your own website, you can get some generic insights into your competitors' search SEO Google stats. Okay, so this resource is alexa.com. And if you want to open up a browser, feel free to. And I want you to do that now and go and see how do you rank globally, okay? And then in your own time, you can take this and go and see who are your main competitors and go in and see how you benchmark against them, okay? Who wants to share what they rank? You can share in your chat. I'll just give you a minute there. Now you can just go into the search function. You don't have to sign up for anything. And it's actually, if you scroll down here, I've just taken a screenshot to show you what you can look at. But if you scroll down, you can actually, see some general stats, which you can actually see for anyone. So you can do this and benchmark against your, I think it's a great tool that you can benchmark against your competitors. Do you find that valuable? I'd like to see how you're all traveling there, just checking in. Hit me with a little all good, or just give me a hands up if that's easier for you. Would love to see how you're going with that. Thanks, guys. Awesome. Okay. So the other thing that I'd like you to think about so we can really use our time effectively, I want you to think about what 2 examples of a group of keywords that people will use to find your product. So have a think about it now. So for example, you could look at, luxury hotels Brisbane or 5-star hotels Brisbane. So if you just think about using your notebook, or just you can, make your little notes, however you like to, but you've got your word. What group of keywords will work really well for you? And then further to that, Abby, 4 million, she's ranked 4.3 million in the World Wide Web. Thanks for sharing that. That's awesome. At least some of us don't even have a ranking, so at least you've got a number that's come up. If anyone hasn't had a number, don't be disheartened. We've just it just means that's what one of our goals will be, to get a ranking on Alexa. So think about the group of keywords people will use to find your product. And then further to that, I want you to open up a new browser again, and those 2 grouped keywords that you have identified, I want you to pop them into a new Google search and see, did you come up in the first 3 pages of Google? There we go. That's what we're here for, Kylie. So Kylie did mention that she didn't have a ranking. So after today, we'll set some good plans in place. And this is the great thing. We can establish some gaps into our businesses that we can then go on and fill. And that could be one of our metrics that we want to rank. Once we rank, it means that we've optimized our website to achieve that. Okay, so how are we going? So you've done some Google searching, and we can see whether we're either rocking it or we've got a work in progress, which we always will. I think even the top ranking, even, Google has work to do. So we're all evolving. So number 2 goes back to what we've just found out with our search engine optimization and how Google now ranks, optimizes, indexes, and, provides its users with relevant content. We need to do the same on our websites. We no longer can sit back and set and forget. We need to create relevant, useful, timely, entertaining content that will add value to our visitors, okay? So what types of content do you think we could do? So could anyone give me? So we've got some good rankings. here. Thanks for sharing your ranking, guys. Love it. Good stuff, Rebecca. So Rebecca's got a 2.7 million number. And we've got Daryl with a Waldorf Hotel, Waldorf, sorry, 3.5. So we've got some ranking there. Blogs, types of content, that is a number one. And if there is anything from my just on the fly observation of just a desktop analysis of your websites, guys, if there's the big opportunity for you to take your websites to the next level, it's providing a blog. So thanks for sharing that, Abigail. So I'm going to give you a list of 10 things that you could potentially consider, okay? Number one, Abby, if I had chocolates to give you or, something, a prize, you nailed it. Number one is a blog, okay? And to have a blog functionality on your website will be really, really valuable for the reasons we've just kind of looked over in the first little while. So I'll just fly through the 10 that I've got for you that you might want to consider moving forward in your content creation. Blog, videos is another thing that I really saw a gap that needs to be filled. And this is not only going to support your marketing, your websites, also for your social content, okay? You think Facebook, YouTube, and the like. Video is really important. Infographics. You think of whether if you do a top 10 piece of, top 10 of things to do, that's something you could potentially, that top 10 attractions in Brisbane, for example, that I showed you for Australia, that could be translated into a blog piece. It could also be in a visual piece, a visual infographic, a guide. Who says that that's something that you couldn't do your own tourist guide that's managed and, produced by you. Product reviews. Now, a lot of you now being in Accommodation Association, you actually have a lot of wonderful products, not only in terms of attractions, operators, other, tour guides, but also physical products that people love that you could do. And I'll show you an example of what I mean by that. How-to guides, lists, lists, it goes to in that list of 10 things you should never leave home without when checking in to the Waldorf, something like that, just off the top of my head. Lists work really, really well. Now, I just want you to think, guys, you think this is your website, it's your number one tool, it's your own media. How can I make it, how can I make it valuable for my customers and my visitors to keep them there and choose and resonate and build a relationship and rapport with you outside of anyone else? What's going to make you the point of difference? Link pages. So actually doing what we saw before, like the linking within your website. So if you've got a top 10 piece of complementing things to do around your area, you can be an ambassador for your region, your city, linking to those things. Case studies. So case studies, if you, for example, for your corporate market, some of us, deal with leisure. We've got corporate. We do weddings. If you cater for weddings and different types of things, you could do a case study. If you've provided a really good, unique solution to a corporate client, you might want to feature that as a case study of someone that's come to you with something really unusual and the solution that you provided, which you could embed, lovely testimonials or, an interview per se with the client, which brings me to interviews. Now, not only interviews with client guests, you think interview of a corporate guest, of your leisure guest, what they love about coming to you, what they love about coming back to you, those repeat customers that you have and that you serve that just love your business. It could also be interviews with, your staff, behind the scenes, bringing personality. This is what really, really can make your brand pop compared to everyone, else in the market like that, to be a little bit left of field. You can take some of these ideas and turn them into different types and pieces of content. Okay. So some examples. I want to give you an example of someone that I've stumbled across that was one of my participants recently and went on to feature a blog. So this is a business that's here in the Bayside of Melbourne, which is called Brighton Savoy. Okay, so they have a really large ballroom, a grand ballroom, and they do a lot in the wedding space. Okay, and they also have accommodation. Now, they have introduced a blog feature, and this is exactly what I'm talking about, just to give you some inspiration of how you could potentially translate this for your business. So you see these as the headings now: wedding trends and colors for 2016. Now, here's something now for their audience being a wedding venue with accommodation. This is something like, for their ideal customer who's searching for wedding venues. I mean, I think gives them such a competitive advantage that they're giving such valuable information. Now, I'd encourage you all to just go on this Brighton Savoy and just see the level. It's personable. They'll do product reviews on other suppliers that they've seen around the traps or that they collaborate with. They'll also do, if they've been featured in a top wedding venue around the online space, they'll go in and write about it themselves. So I hope that gives you some inspiration. So going back to your notebook, okay, I want you to think about 3 pieces of content that you can create. And I love this. That is right. So when you're looking at content, think right. Relevant, informative, timely, and entertaining. Because I don't know about you, but I think people are kind of, consumers now want value. They're a bit tired of getting sold to all the time. So what is 3 things out of what we just spoke about that may prick your little ears up a little bit and said, that's something that I could potentially provide? Anyone want to share what they've come up with? Not yet? Well, I hope this is something. I mean, if you can just think from that, what are 3 things that you could potentially start, create and get, and implement for your website strategy moving forward to attract those customers and book with you? Because now it's not. We've got to start thinking of our, ROE and our ROR. What I'm talking about there is our return on our engagement and return on relationships, as well as our return on investment for people to book with us. Now, number 3 is customer-focused copy, okay? So I want to say, who is continuously reviewing their website copy? So is that something that's part of your day-to-day, reviewing your website copy? You don't have? I hope you're still there. Everyone's gone awfully quiet. But anyway, what I'm talking about, website copy, keeping it customer focused. So we want to be customer centric. And the way we want to do that when we're talking about content and when we're just talking about what we do is take the focus on the benefits. How will your visitor benefit by coming with you? Look at that big why. Okay, what's the big why of how they will benefit? Let's take the focus off features and look at, are we embedding in our content and in our website copy benefits of coming to you over your neighbor, okay, or over your competitor? Okay, now one of the best ways of inspiring you to take your marketing and owner and digital, content manager hat off and put your customer's hat on. I've got some space there in your workbook, and I want to give you like 1 minute just to brainstorm. What does my customer want? What does my customer want? And if any of you want to share that in your questions, I want you to think, what does my customer want? And the reason why I share, like, I ask you to, like, sometimes we forget to go back to this very simple question to say, well, what is it that my customer wants? Not what I want. What does my customer want? And then we work backwards from that to create copy that is then providing the solution to what they want. Okay? Now, I want you guys after today and as part of your homework to go onto your home pages, your about pages, go through your website, go through a fine-tooth comb and look at your copy. And does it, one, look at the benefits, why they should choose you over anyone else? Okay? Only we. Finish that statement off. Only we, ... And what does my customer want? The other thing I want you to look at when creating copy and embedding into your website collateral, into your dynamic content, is look at your most frequent questions. Okay? Ask your front of office staff, ask your phone staff, your reservation staff. Make me a list of your most frequently asked questions. And again, that will give you gold in terms of what people want and what your customer wants and your visitors want. I hope that. Give me a hands up if you're all good. You're finding this valuable so far. This is the only difference with thanks, Daryl, with when I can't see you face to face, that I just need to check in with you from time to time that this is you're finding this valuable to you. Okay, so I want you to fill out those things, and that's part of your homework, to go back and ask around. Okay, ask around, and this will give you some great inspiration for content creation moving forward. Number 4 is grow your own tribe of raving fans. Now, I've noticed a lot of you on your website, some of you do have social, and we're going to focus our next webinar and our online training when we meet again in a couple of weeks, specifically on Facebook, okay? But I'm talking about more than Facebook, just growing an online community of raving fans for your business. Now, the things that I want you to think about, and this is something you can go through and just answer a yes or a no. Are you getting social in your business? Are you engaging with your visitors and your not only your potential visitors, but your past? I mean, you all have a lot of scope for return business. Okay. So yes or no to the following. Have you claimed your TripAdvisor and your Google business listing? Okay, yes or no? Are your TripAdvisor reviews are accessible from your website? Is that a yes or no? You have a Facebook business page that you actively engage on. Okay? And last but not least, oh no, your Facebook page is accessible from your website. You have a YouTube account and embed a video on your site. Now, video, for many of you, unless I've missed one of the late ones that I've seen, but many of you, video is not featuring much at all on your website. So I'd like to just put that on your radar, okay, for all the reasons we've been talking about. So here's an example. So now, Valhalla, now one of you is from here. I can't match the name to the business, but I know it was one of you. I wanted to Have I got any? Me, Kylie. I was like, remember Kylie. Kylie, welcome. Beautiful website. But I wanted to, so I came onto your website and I went, oh, I want to like everyone. Some of you I couldn't find any little Facebook blue mark, but I did for Valhalla Perisher, okay? But check out what happened when I went into the Facebook. I didn't go onto your Facebook page. It came up as a status update on my personal. So we want to check all our little links that our web developers did for us to make sure that they are working for us. Because I had to then go and hunt for what it was. So we don't want, when we click on our little Facebook icon, I want to go direct to your business page where I can hit my little like button. This is not something, I'm not ready to engage in this way. And your new visitors to your website, we're losing an opportunity to grow our tribe when it's not connecting to the right page. So this is something I've used this as an example. I want all of you to test your links. Okay, this is put that in your notes as your homework. I want to check that everything that is on your homepage is going through to the right platform and the right page. Okay. We want to also, now this is great. Kylie used as a call to action, watch video. So she had a video, and she did actually, my bad, Kylie, you did have some video on yours. She had watch a video on her Facebook cover page. Now, with Facebook, with growing our tribe, we also want to use them to drive traffic. So another of you, again, please make yourself known to me. So one of you that's here, Lake Krakenback Resort, is another one using their call to action to drive traffic back to the website. So all the things, for those of you that are not using any social media, they're great ways to build your tribe and build a following and use these as a medium and a big business objective to drive traffic back to your site. Okay, so we want to use tool like this, and Book Now, that will go straight onto the booking page, okay, onto your booking platform. Now, moving right along, I also want to use when we talk about not only call to actions, using your real estate. Okay, we're going to talk a lot more about this when we catch up again, and we're just going to have a full hour on Facebook. But we want to use your real estate. What I mean by that, for those of you that are getting social, okay, don't just use, we're not just want to use static, just like we don't want to have static websites and we want to keep them current. We want to match and be congruent with our marketing to complement. We want our Facebook and social media activity to complement the promotions that are going onto our website and vice versa, because it's all new eyeballs. Your market that is coming to your website is going to be different to the market that you're targeting and attracting on your Facebook page. So I wanted to use this like Krakenback Resort as an example for the resort and day spa. Okay, they've got this lovely image on the, in this big, and I always call this your real estate. This is one of the most important spaces on your cover page. Now, as an accommodation provider, check out what's on the website. There's a promotion of like a Fifth Snowy's mountain bike festival, and right next to it is checking availability. So what a great way to say, okay, there's a big event in our neck of the woods. Here's the event, so we're giving people a benefit, a reason why to come, but more importantly, a reason to stay. Now, I think leveraging and bringing something like promoting this event on a cover page is going to give a lot more value, okay, using that as a benefit. Does that make sense? But we're going to spend a lot more time on how to do this and more reasons why we really need to be doing this, and keeping things aligned, your branding aligned. Don't leave your website looking one way and then your key platforms, social platforms, looking another, okay? We want to attract our community, reasons why they need to come and stay and book with you and no one else, okay? The other number 5 thing before we wrap up is growing your database. So who has an active database and a newsletter that they're sending out to? Awesome. Now, this is really important. Now, guys, I had to hunt for, not many of your websites had somewhere I could subscribe to get more information, okay? So this is a big opportunity to build, okay, when we're talking about, attracting clients and booking online, okay, someone might stumble across your property, but they're not ready to book yet. But we're leaving them. We're leaving our net hollow, so we're not capturing something that we can then market to again. So I just want to put this on your radar, that to use your website as a bit of a lead generating tool, okay? So ways to do this. So I want you to think about the 3 ways you're capturing your website visitor information at the moment. So what are you doing at the moment to capture visitors coming to your website at the moment? And it's okay if we're not really doing much now. Some of you are, some of you are not. But if someone's coming to your website, we're losing such a big opportunity when we're not giving them a reason to exchange their email address with us, okay? So here's some examples. So Alex Perry, this was so awesome. I didn't even know this existed. Hotel. So right front and center on the homepage, you can see there is join our A-list. What I love about this, it's just simple. Just give me an email, boom, easy, done. Okay, so even if someone's just come there from curiosity or looking around, there you go. We've got an opportunity there because we've put something on our website. But we've put a subscription somewhere easily found. I can't remember who it was, but one of you guys had it subscribe in the tiniest little font right at the bottom in a grayed out area on the bottom of your page. Okay, we don't want to be doing that. Providing an incentive is another way. So give visitors to your site a reason to subscribe. So having an opt-in, you can have this for those of you that do Google ads. You could use this as a way not only to, get featured in, make your advertising work a little bit more for you by capturing emails. And things like this can communicate on all platforms. So this is an example of sign up to our newsletter and win a 2-night city break. So use your partnerships and collaborate. Create a sexy package and use it to capture emails. And this is the question I pose to you. What if they're not ready to book? Well, there are ways you can capture an email to say, remind me to book later, that you can, automate the series. Or another way to word it again, something that you've got it front and center, okay? A lot of you have done the right thing and put a booking page, date, the fields of what they need to. But what if they've seen you now, but they're not ready to part with money yet? Okay? Email me about, this one says Pleasant Stay Guest House. What a great thing. Like, email me some more information or keep up to date. Okay? So they're the top 5. We're going to start wrapping things up now to give you a summary and start getting your questions ready for me as we wrap up. We want to optimize for search engine success. Okay? And we do that by stepping it up. We need to be stepping up our content creation by creating relevant, informative, timely, and entertaining content. We want to be adding some value now. We don't want to create, it doesn't work anymore. I say this not only just for your websites, but also for your social media. It's not a place to be an infomercial. It's a place to add really good, valuable content. The way we do that is by being customer centric, okay? What do they want? What solution do we provide? What's the big why of why, of why they should come to us and not anyone else? Grow your own tribe of raving fans, okay? So grow your tribe by putting your social networks front and center somewhere. You know, if someone comes to your website, we're capturing, if we're not capturing an email, we're capturing them as a like to continue to communicate and target them in our social marketing, and grow your database. Email marketing is not dead, okay? It's the first form of social media, and we need to put it, if you haven't already, and a lot of you may already be doing that, but from what I've seen, we're really nowhere near capturing as much details of our customers as we should be, that we can then further promote down the track, whether it's through a monthly, quarterly, or weekly, newsletter or as such. Okay, so next steps for you guys, what I invite you all to do to further establish any gaps that you may have on the Tourism Tribe website, and I've shared a link with you here, tourismtribe.com/checkup. So if you want to see more of the benefits to consider becoming a member or not, this is such a valuable exercise to do, that you can go do a checkup and then actually be given back a report to have clearly where your gaps exist. And then when you find that, for those of you that are into DIY like myself, and you want to set some goals for yourself for your website activity, I've put in there for you that you can download in your notes a one-page plan where you can put where am I now. So I want you to look at, so some of you have already established some metrics, okay? You've got your rankings, your global rankings. You could add that. You could add, for your Google Analytics, one of our sessions we will definitely talk about that, and how you can, you might, even for those of you outsourced, we want to be empowered to look at what is this activity happening, who's our main referrer? What have been the top 10 main referrers that have come to main traffic sources in the last month, in the last quarter, in the last year? Okay, there are many benefits. So I've just put a one-pager that you can set some goals, set some action items, put a time next to it. If things don't get scheduled, they won't get done. So I hope that is valuable to you. Any questions, comments, feedback, please put it, send me some. Yeah, I'd love to know. Do you have any questions for me as we're just 2 minutes over. But if you have any questions, please let me know. Do you have any questions? Have you enjoyed this online training #1 experience? I take that, Daryl. Thank you for a hands up. Maybe a hands up if you don't have. Here we go. Besides Facebook, and thank you, Rebecca, besides Facebook and YouTube, are there any other social media platforms that you believe are essential for motels? Now, great question. Thanks, Rebecca. Now, I think Google Plus is a great essential tool. Now, I say Google Plus, it might not have the monthly active users that Facebook does, but it is the Facebook of Google. And Facebook content that is created on Google Plus sure does get a preference in indexing on the Google search. So I would put that on the radar, Rebecca, Google Plus in the mix there. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you for your question. Thank you, Rebecca, there. Instagram, we're going to have some Instagram love. Thank you. We're going to have some Instagram love too. We're going to have a session dedicated to Instagram, which is another great tool. But, I have my theory on social networks too. I don't want you to kind of be everything to everyone unless you have a strategy in place to sustain it and maintain it. Because like maintaining our website to keep it current and relevant and keep new content alive, we want to do the same thing with our social media. Okay, Instagram is a great tool, Daryl, and we will have a focus session. Now, in your notebook, at the end of that, I have also listed the dates for you to diarise, okay? So keep those dates handy, put them in your diary, and I will send you registrations for all of those upcoming webinars, just to make it nice and easy and for you not to miss out. But I appreciate your time, guys. I thank you very much for coming with me today. And like I said, my details, if you want anything, feedback is the breakfast of champions, even in terms of the copy, the content, anything constructive that you would like to give me, as well as any love for what you've experienced today, please never hesitate to send me an email directly. And there's my social handles if you wanted to connect in that way too. Thank you again, and I'm going to wrap off now. If I don't have it, please show link to workbook again. You know what I might do there, Byron? I will. So your link to the handbook is down here. If you can see that the handouts is where you can just upload the Word documents. But what I might do, and I hope it can work out, I'll see if I can attach these to the email, follow-up email as well, if that would be helpful for you. I can't see either. You can't see it. So the handouts, you can't see. Down the bottom it says handouts, 2 of 5. Can you see them now? No? Okay, look, what I'll do is I will attach these for you and just send you I'll send you a Dropbox link. Okay? Cannot see. So some haven't, some haven't. There you go. I spoke too soon of not having a technical glitch, that's annoying. But look, I'll send them to you guys. Never fear. You haven't missed out on anything. I'll get those in an attachment for you, okay? I am on an Apple. Or maybe if you don't have Microsoft, maybe that is Kylie. If you don't have Microsoft loaded on your Apple, that's aren't they annoying? These Apple versus Microsoft, but that would be the reason why maybe. But look, I'll get that over to you. Okay, beautiful. There you go, Byron. All right. So if there's no more questions, I'm here for another couple of minutes if you wanted to ask anything else. Otherwise, I will say au revoir, not bon voyage, I wish. And I'll look forward to catching up with you guys. The next one is on the 23rd. Same time, same place. We've got another 5 to go, and I will look forward to your company then. And don't forget to reach out if you have any other questions. Okay. So, all right, I think we might call it. There's nothing else, nothing else happening. Okay, guys, thank you very, very much. Have an awesome day. All right, thanks. Bye.